Hello everybody. Today we will see the almost the last chapter of the biology in standard 10, that is waste generation and management. We very well know that we produce a huge amount of waste on our daily basis, whether it be person who is living in a city or whether he is living in a village or whether he is an industrialist or whether he is a farmer. Each and every one of us produce a huge amount of waste on daily basis. So that's why first of all we need to understand that what are the different kinds of waste which are generated. That's why we have the first part as waste generation. And because this generated waste is needs to be managed. Why? Because if you don't manage this waste could be a very serious kind of a problem for everybody, because if you do not manage to place this thing in a proper manner, they could cause a lot of pollution. They could not only cause pollution but could also cause many infections and diseases, because each and every kind of a waste will form a different kind of a problem of its own. So accordingly we see that waste is something which not only needs to we need to understand that what are the different kinds of waste so that we can manage them, and if you are able to manage these waste in a proper manner, then things are going to be much easier. In fact, it will be also helpful because many of the waste what we just throw it can be reused or recycled, due to which you can easily cope up with the demand of the resource or demand what is there for the raw material, and accordingly the resources which we are having can be saved. So it is very important to understand this waste and to have a proper management of this waste. So let's see one by one what is exactly given in this chapter. So first thing is, what is waste? Waste is any substance which is discarded after primary use, or it is worthless, defective and of no use. So whenever you feel that some particular thing what is already used up, or it has been discarded after use, or it has got become worthless or defective in nature, then we call that particular thing as a waste. So waste is that particular thing which is discarded. Basically it is the one which is already given its primary use. Ever since the human society has been evolving with huge population growth, there has been ever increasing demand for the primary needs of food, shelter and clothing, etc. This has led to the rapidly increasing size and number of towns, cities, large agricultural fields, storage godowns, factories, interconnecting roads, railways and so on. With these, there has also been an increasing use of electricity, firewood, petroleum and even nuclear energy. All this is leading to more and more human body waste, livestock waste, discarded equipments, agricultural waste, etc. Efficient method of their disposal are being continuously improved. So we can see that as we are getting more and more urbanized, as we are getting more and more technology, more sounder, and we are getting more and more, the new generations, and they are having all the different kinds of modes of transport and everything. So your demand for things keep on increasing, because now you know that certain things which were not available to you are available to you, and you start using them, and accordingly you are producing the waste of that particular thing also. Like a simple example would be mobile phones. Mobile phones which were not there about 15 years back, there were no mobile phones, or maybe more than that, but when there were no more, it was not required. But now when it is there, people are changing their mobiles almost, if not at least every year, but every 2 years. So what happens to the older phone? They are just getting discarded, or it is just lying in the house doing no work. So all these are increasing the waste. This is just a small example which of the thing which we talk about technology. Otherwise the waste is generated in a huge form on a daily basis. So first is the categories of the waste. So let's see the categories of the waste. The category will be, first is domestic waste given out from the homes, agricultural waste that is given out by the factories, thermal power plants, etc. Agricultural waste, industrial waste given out by the factories and the thermal power. Agricultural waste that is left behind after obtaining the consumable parts. So that simple thing that अगर field है, field में से rice वगैरह तो निकाल दिया, तो that basic roots and everything which needs to be removed, that is nothing but the waste, the agriculture waste. Municipal waste, which includes the overall waste given out from the township. The overall waste what we are, the complete township के जो निकलता है, तो that is from the shops and everything. So that is the municipal waste. And e-waste, that is electronic waste from electrical and electronic equipment. So that are the 5 different kinds of waste. So let's study these 5 kinds of waste in a detailed manner one by one. First is domestic waste. An average home produces the following types of waste. So first one is in domestic waste, household waste. Okay. So first, what is the biggest, or you can say the most important thing in the domestic waste? Of course, or the kitchen waste. The kitchen waste is a daily affair. Daily you are going to peel the vegetables, you are going to the seeds of the fruits and are going to be thrown away, you are going to cut the whatever excess food or something is there is going to be thrown away, or some packets what you open like Maggie khaya, Maggie ka packet nikal ke usme dal. So all these are kitchen waste what you are having. So the waste when you are cleaning the pulses, everything, these are some kitchen waste. So several items such as peeling of vegetables and fruits, shells taken off from groundnuts and other dry fruits and eggs, washing of pulses, rice, etc. before cooking, any stale or rotten non-usable food item used, that is tea leaves, and any leftover food in the food dish. So all these are the kitchen waste which are generated on a regular basis, on a daily basis by each and every house. Plastic packaging and wrapping, discarded, used and broken plastic objects including toys, etc. So yeah, another domestic waste which will be there will be plastic. We use a good amount of plastic on a daily basis. As I told you about the packaging, like Maggie ka packet is a plastic, or the wrapping of any particular thing. So you have something which is wrapped in a plastic bag or a plastic foil over there, so that will be there, or maybe plastic toys and okay, so all even disposable kind of spoons and all, they will be plastic. So all these will be the one which are going to be a domestic waste. Third is the glass, broken glass utensils, mirrors, containers, wooden window panes and electric bulbs. So the bulbs which are made up of glass and they are going to be, they get broken or they get used up, like the bulb fuses off. So such kind of things will be glass waste which we are going to discard on a quite a regular basis. Then there are rags, the cloth. Okay, so a huge variety of waste piece of cloth, torn towels, handkerchief, etc., old bed sheets, blankets, cushions, discarded worn out clothing and footwear, curtains and so on. Some of them are reused by the poor or are sold off to the raddiwala. So yeah, the clothes, very rarely it happens that you are putting it in the dustbin, but normally what we have a tendency that agar purane clothes hai, so you give it to a poor people, or you just donate it somewhere, or you sell it to the raddiwala. Yeah, some raddiwala do take it. So in this way you are able to not completely discard it, but yes, it is a waste that the old cushions and the blankets and the towels and bed sheets and even the clothes what we wear, the old things, we are discarding it. Or sometimes you have grown up, so that's why the older shirts of yours, or maybe which were not actually used much, but it is fitting tight to you, so automatically it comes out as a waste. And finally is the paper. The daily newspapers, the magazines are very common waste, which are generally sold to the raddiwalas who pass them for a variety of uses. Such waste paper is even recycled for their reuse in some way in paper industry. So yeah, to a certain extent we are lucky enough that the paper industry has got a good amount of recycling thing done. That's why we do not have too much of the paper waste in our daily use. The waste of paper which is given out is normally somewhere given in the Radiwala, who gives it to a particular person who would recycle that thing and form into different kind of things, like maybe they can just make a paper bag out of it, which is of the newspapers, or they give it to the vendors of the the fruit vendors and all, where they put that thing inside there. Even the bhajia wala and vada pav wala, they take the paper sometimes. So yeah, there will be many different kinds of uses of those papers which are going to be given out. So normally people do not throw that as a into the dustbin. Putting the paper into a dustbin is slightly awkward. They don't use it. Yeah, of course, some small things like one just letter coming up and then you don't, and you tear it off and throw it into the dustbin. Yeah, that is of course there, but not the whole newspaper and all which you're going to throw it into the dustbin. So normally, yeah, paper is handled quite good. I would consider that we are catering to the requirements, or we are able to easily manage the management part. So we are able to manage the paper waste quite efficiently, because we are trying to save a good amount of paper, but at least we're not throwing it into the dustbin directly. So that was the domestic waste. And the domestic waste was the kitchen waste, plastic waste, glass, glasses, then rags, that is clothes, and paper. So these were the 5 domestic waste. Now we move on to the next kind of waste, and that is the industrial waste. So industrial waste, we see that industrial waste, there is a huge variety of industries producing different kinds of material and articles. All of these use raw material and give out a lot of waste. Some of these are as follows. So you can see industries, they use a lot of raw material and they process this raw material and produce lot many things. So when they produce lot many things, it is not necessary that each and everything what they have taken as a raw material is going to be used up. There will be a lot of waste which is coming out. Let us take a simple example. If you have a industry who is making, let's say, jeans pant, okay, trousers, jeans trousers they are making. So they are taking a cloth, okay, and they are stitching the jeans. But is the complete every inch and everything of the jeans cloth which they are taken is going to be used up? No, they are going to cut it to shape. So when they cut it to shape, there will be a lot of parts of that particular thing which is going to come out as waste. Okay. So this is just a small example which you can understand easily. But apart from that, if you see a mechanical industry, a पर्टिकुलर सॉलिड आयरन पीस का कुछ पार्ट रहेगा तो उसमें ड्रिलिंग होता है, उसके अंदर कटिंग होता है. तो व्हेन यू ड्रिल दैट थिंग, तो ड्रिलिंग का जो व्हेन यू ड्रिल दैट थिंग, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स ऑफ द आयरन व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी गिवन आउट फॉर व्हाट वी आर ड्रिलिंग. तो उसका कचरा आएगा. दिस यू नो दीज आर स्मॉल थिंग्स, बट ये अगर हम लोग cumulatively, when you see a big industry, you will find that they come in tons. These particular waste what is there is going to be in tons. So that's why we see that the industrial waste is going to be a huge waste. Anyway, we are not going to go into that detail. We are going over here with the particular industries as a whole. So we first see is the mining operation. Mining means the companies or the industries which are dealing with the mineral ores. So the one which are going to deal with getting the minerals or getting the metal from the earth surface. So उसको अर्थ से समझो एक माउंटेन है और माउंटेन में पता चला कि उसके अंदर वो टेस्ट करने से that it has got good amount of iron in it. So what they do is that they take the stones of that particular mountain, they break that mountain into so the mining industry is there which break it down, and then they are going to crush it, grind it, and then they extract the iron from it. फिर क्या होगा? जो बचेगा, that is all the waste. So similarly, so there are hundreds of mines in India alone and thousands in the world which extract copper, silver, gold, zinc, iron, coal, etc. So of course these are only a small limited amount of names which are given over here. You have got multiple forms of mines in India. So they are, of course, the one which are very common ones are the gold, silver, copper, and zinc and coal and iron, even aluminium as such. Huge quantity of waste are produced by processing them. Such waste are usually called mine tailing, the leftover. The mine tailing mixed with other material can be used for making tiles, masonry, cements, etc. So yeah, these are going to be, so you can understand it quite easily that अगर एक rock है, rock के अंदर क्या है, there is a soil also and the mineral also. So the mineral when it is extracted, what is going to remain will be the mud, or we can say the soil part, or we can say अगर stone है तो stone का powder. So that stone powder and all, they are used up for making tiles, or they are used for making a masonry cement. Okay, so if they are used up, good. But why is it being used up? Because we consider it to be a waste, और वो waste manage करना difficult है, इसीलिए पता चला कि अच्छा इसका use ये हो सकता है, so why not use it? It will be much easier and much cheaper also, because a waste thing is being sold at a price. You can consider this way that you were supposed to, like if I tell you that from this particular amount of soil, you are extracting, let's say 50% of this is iron, and you extracted iron. So you got your price of the iron, and still अगर ये 50% जो बाकी रहा उसमें से भी अगर तुम लोग कमा सकते हो, because you are making it tiles, using it for tiles, or you are selling it to the people who are making tiles, or you are selling it to the people who are making cement, then of course you are earning from the waste what is generated from you. So that's why it is always very important that the waste be understood, and we need to manage it in such a way that sometimes you are making the making a good amount of money from the waste. So this is exactly what we say is best out of waste. So that is what we are seeing this example as. The next is the cement industry. The waste given out may be solid, liquid or gaseous. The solid waste are either used in construction activity or dumped in landfills. See, we have a lot of construction activity going on. Metro train के लिए बना रहे हैं, bridges बना रहे हैं, there will be some buildings being made, and everywhere you will find that they dig holes first of all, and then they are going to be having the foundation and all done, and then they need to close that thing. So to close that thing, they will require some good amount of soil to close that thing. So that soil which is required, or that particular amount of material which is required, is nothing but the waste what they get from industries. That is their the cement industry का जो waste है, that is being used as landfills. Sometimes the landfill is also done for places which are very much close to the sea or to the river, where they want to reduce the size of the sea. Means they are, we can say the reclamation. It's called as a reclaimed land. Reclaimed land means a land which was actually not there, but they have filled it up. They have filled up more and more sand and more soil on it, so that the water has been drifted backwards, and that land has been reclaimed, or you can say that land has been formed, so that the construction activity can take place. So this is called as the reclaimed land. So yeah, the Bandra reclamation is one such part. There was no such Bandra reclamation over there. It has been constructed by. In fact, the whole Mumbai, you can say it was basically 7 islands. So the whole Mumbai was 7 islands, but right now, do you see any island in Mumbai? No, you cannot see any island at all. All the 7 islands are so well connected to each other now that you cannot even feel that, okay, हाँ ये इतना part है, उसके आजू बाजू में पानी है. No, you don't see anything like that, because everything has been completely landfilled. So the complete Mumbai, which was actually 7 islands, has been converted into one big kind of land connected to the state of Maharashtra, and that state is nowhere it is an island, and that's the reason, when the main reason for this thing is it has been filled up by landfills. So that is how the landfills make much of a difference. So yeah, the solid waste are either used in construction activity or dumped in landfills. The liquid waste, including wash-offs, are treated to remove harmful substances and then released in the rivers, ponds, lakes or seas. So here you can see the liquid waste which is going to come out from the cement industry. They just treat it so that it removes, you are just removing the harmful components of that particular liquid waste, so that it is not contaminating the water body in which that particular liquid has been drained into. So yeah, we can say that to a certain extent the cement industries cause the water pollution too, but yeah, it has been controlled, because the cement industry sees to it that whatever has been discarded into the water body is not going to be too injurious to health, or it is harmless to the water. And the gaseous waste like the fly ash, which consists of fine solid powder particles of non-combustible ash carried out of a bed of solid fuel by a draft. It can be used for making variety of building material like bricks, concrete, roofing sheets. So see, when the cement industry, in cement, mainly what happens is that they do a lot of crushing and grinding. So when they do a lot of crushing and grinding of the stones, at that time there is a lot of amount of, because of the air and everything, and we need to travel a lot of distance from one place to another place through conveyor belts and all. So that's why there is a lot of the powder is going to be just moving around in the air. So that is nothing but the fly ash. So this fly ash, what is collected, can be used the same way for the tiles manufacturers and making bricks, concrete, roof sheetings, etc. We move on now to the next industry, and that is the oil refineries. So oil refineries, what is oil refinery? It is basically that particular kind of a industry which is extracting the oil from the ground. See, normally oil is extracted in the sea area. So in the sea, that is in the mid sea, there will be a platform being made in the mid sea, and where there will be a drilling thing done, and they drill out the land inside the sea, and under the land of the sea there will be a oil bed. So that वो oil bed में से उन लोग petroleum oil and all is being extracted. So that when they do so, automatically what is going to happen is that when they are doing the drilling process and everything, some of the oil which they are trying to extract is also going to get out into the sea. So this is going to be the oil refineries ka waste. So while refining crude oil, a lot of poisonous gases and liquid waste are produced. Gaseous waste are cleaned by passing through cleaners, and purified part is released into the atmosphere. In fact, not now. Many of these gases are also used as fuel. Like the example is CNG. The CNG what you are getting are also one of the kind of gases which are being given out in the oil industry. So yeah, of course, some of the gases are such that they are going to be a waste, and they will need to be discarded. And that is the reason if you go to places near Chembur and all, there are certain oil refineries over there, and you will find that there will be always a chimney kind of a thing, and which will be always having a fire on top of it. These are called oil refineries. They've got a peculiar kind of a chimney. It's called as a flare. Okay, it's called as a flare, wherein there will be a chimney. So एक ऐसा chimney रहेगा, a लंबा सा chimney रहेगा, and then there will be fire, which will continuous fire will be given out over here. So what is that? That is basically you are not allowing those poisonous gases over here. There are some amount of gases which are here. These gases are going to be harmful. That's why what they do is that उसको फेंकने का कोई और कोई option नहीं है. So we are burning them off. So these flare, what they do is that they are burning off this particular gases, so that they, of course, they are going to cause pollution, but at the same time that they are not going to be harmful. The waste what will be given out will be only something like carbon dioxide, because other part of the waste, which was the poisonous part of the waste, is being burnt off. So this is how they even discard this. So you can see that they are passed to cleaners. By passing through the cleaners, and purified the part is released into the atmosphere. So yes, sometimes they get a purified part which can be given out in the atmosphere. If not, then they do something like this, that is a flare of the gases. The liquid waste are processed and suitably dumped. So yeah, the liquid too will be processed, and they are dumped into the sea or somewhere in the water body. So that was about the oil refineries. The next we see is the construction unit. Now, construction unit, these produces huge quantity of waste, stones, pebbles, broken bricks, wood, waste, etc. Most of them these are dumped in the landfills. This is particularly a huge waste in large towns, and one sees heaps of landfills in the suburbs. So you'll always find that a lot of landfills, because कहीं पे भी कोई भी bridge बनाना है तो पहले उन लोगों के लिए खड्डा खोदना पड़ता. तो वो when they dig that particular place, where is that thing going to go? It is going to go as one particular landfill. वो वहाँ पे भर के पड़ा रहेगा. And when they want it, they will take that and fill it up also. So this way, there will be construction activities will always use both of them. They will produce a lot of waste, and they will also use a lot of waste. So that is how they are going to compensate with each other. So that is, and of course the kind of waste what the construction people will be forming will be the pebbles, the stones what they are using, or the broken bricks, the wood kapart jo they are using for the construction, and things like that. Okay, so that was about the construction units. The next what we see is, one sec. Right, the next what we see is the agricultural waste. The agriculture is the art of cultivating the soil, producing crops, and raising the livestock, animal farms. The agricultural waste mainly includes the agricultural residues, the plant parts left after obtaining the usable parts. Much of these is used as animal feed. So, of course, what is going to happen is, suppose the rice cultivation is done. So, whatever is the plant part of the rice, they have taken up the grain part. So, niche ka the plant part there, it is going to be waste. So, normally this waste is being used up by the people for animal feed, but yeah, so this is one of the kind of waste. Other is the bagasse, is a plant residue of a sugarcane after extracting the sugarcane juice. You must have seen sugarcane juice वाला वो sugarcane अंदर डालता है और वो पूरा जो कचरा जो बाहर निकलता है, that is nothing but bagasse. So that bagasse is going to be there. This is just a sugarcane juice वाला, but normally sugarcane is being used to extract sugar, so produce sugar, and also to make jaggery. So everywhere this bagasse is going to be produced in a large quantity, but luckily we have found a good use of it, because these bagasses can be used in the paper industry or or used as firewood. So that's why it can be useful as firewood or in paper industry. Pesticides and fertilizers collected in the soil and are washed off with the irrigation and rainwater, leading to the rivers and ponds pollution. Strict precautions have to be taken in their use. So yeah, pesticides and insecticides and fertilizers what they put, if they are chemical based, these chemical based fertilizers and pesticides are going to be washed away with the water into the water body which is nearby, and going to cause pollution. So a strict kind of thing should be there, that they should not be using any kind of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. And animal waste, of course, the cows and the buffaloes what they are having, or the bulls what they are having for irrigation is the plowing of the field. They are going to produce their cow dung and other fecal matters which can be used for manure. So agriculture animal waste including cow dung and other fecal matters which is used in making manure. The next one is the municipal waste. Municipal waste includes the following: household discharge of excreta, fecal matter of the toilets and kitchen washing, discharge from public toilets, hospitals, hotels, restaurants, offices, etc. All this waste is carried away from sewers and in the sewage, and this sewage is separated into the degradable part capable of being broken down by chemically into non-toxic parts and non-degradable portion. Septic tanks are used to degrade the degradable part. The non-degradable part is dumped or buried at safe places. So you will see that the municipality, what they will do is that they will always segregate the waste what they have got into two parts. One will be the degradable, or we can say the biodegradable one. Other will be non-biodegradable one. The degradable one, they are using it for fertilizers and manures and even biogases. And the non-degradable one will be dumped somewhere else where they can use it for another purposes. So this is how the municipal waste is going to be taken care of. And finally is the e-waste. Now e-waste, I think will I'll continue with the e-waste. E-waste is an abbreviation of electronic waste. It consists of the discarded appliances using electricity, such as old computers, TVs, refrigerators, radios, cell phones, mobile batteries, fluorescent tubes, electronic toys, medical instruments, lead acid batteries, etc. So all the equipment, all the electronic gadgets what you are using right now in your houses for different purposes, all these come under e-waste, which has gone old and you are not able to use them. E-waste may contain harmful substances as well as some usable, reusable material. Harmful substances will be lead, cadmium, mercury, etc. And the valuable material will be gold, silver, copper, etc. Because all the circuits what are there, these circuits may have even gold and silver in them if it is a very high-end kind of a instrument. Generation of e-waste. The e-waste is mostly generated in large cities, but as the living standards are fast improving, even the small cities and towns are getting flooded with electronic gadgets, and those thus distribute and contributing to e-waste. Yeah, initially it used to happen that e-waste was generated only in the large cities, but now because of the generation becoming very fast, the growth being of very fast, and the availability of the networks being so fast, so even the smallest village has got mobile phones right now, so they are also producing e-waste on a regular basis now. Disposal of the e-waste. The rack pickers and waste dealers, raddiwalas, kabadis, obtain the discarded electronic gadgets. They remove the usable components or extract the secondary raw material. But these recycling processes are harmful, causing health problems including cancer. Burning of printed wire boards, given out harm fumes inhaled, if inhaled, and certain residues which may unknowingly enter food chains while the crops causing body ailments. So yeah, the problem with the e-waste is that certain things are going to be easily taken out by the rack pickers. They are going to just take it. Some parts are being reused and it is being very easily used by people. But some parts, like the printed circuit boards, the circuit board which is there on the in the mobiles and everything, these ones, if they burn it off, they are going to give some kind of poisonous gases, which is very dangerous, and that's why the discarding of such things are going to be slightly difficult. So they can form many kind of body ailments if they are burned or when they are discarded in an improper manner. So best thing is to recycle them. Most electronic devices containing a variety of material including metals which can be recovered for further use, but it needs to be done very carefully under skilled supervision. Special e-bins should be kept at places for dumping discarded e-waste material, and municipal agencies should make special arrangement for their final disposal. So yeah, it should be better. It would be better that we have a proper e-waste bin, so that we discard the e-waste into that, so that it can be reused or recycled, or at least discarded in a proper manner, so municipality can discard it in a proper manner. In fact, I had seen somewhere that even some mobile companies, they keep a e-waste box in their showrooms, so that if you want to discard your old phones, you can just drop it over there, which can be helpful for either repairing some old phone, or it can be recycled, or we can say that it can be some parts of that can be reused, and hence the discarding of those things would be slightly easier. So this is about the e-bin what we are talking about. Okay, so this was about the different kinds of waste which are generated by us in our day-to-day life. Now we see the next part in the next video.